Hi. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to talk through this for a minute because unfortunately, I forgot to hit record. I'm just going to have to start recording when I open up class because this is the second time this has happened. Okay, so today we've had a brief discussion on social and emotional learning for pre-K and kinder. Now students have been sent to the breakout rooms to work on this assignment, which has already been assigned at this time. It is showing in the class module. And it is basically one group is working on pre-K and they are working on games or activities that you can do with children for emotional development. And then for our group two, they are working in the kindergarten area and their focus is on social development. So I think in the lecture series that I've been doing with this class, it is very evident that social and emotional learning is very important to our pre-K and our kindergarten students. It is an area that sometimes they are lacking, and it is our job to see that they have all the skills necessary to improve or to help them in their development to master social and emotional learning. It is an ongoing job. And I think now our school systems are better prepared to help children with this. A lot of our students in this class spoke about the fact that they actually have classes that students go to for social and emotional learning. And then there were other teachers that spoke about the fact that they have to do it each morning in their classroom. So I think now we see much more emphasis placed on this and the educational setting. And I think that is only since COVID. I really believe that COVID brought this into more of a focus, and students are now getting some of the very best help out there on a daily basis for these issues that can really affect their learning. And so that's where we are. We will come back together and we will have a share out of group one and group two. And also, I did also explain that if you have not checked out the Family Connections event, that is, I think, due February 16th. This is not a paper. This is a PowerPoint presentation that you will be required to put together. Number one, you need to select an activity that you're going to do with your class that's going to involve their family. You're going to bring them into your classroom, or the event should be about your classroom. It should not be a school-wide event. Like we see a lot of schools doing literacy night, STEM night. Well, that's fine. But if you're going to do that, you need to design it just for your class. Okay? The class has to be either pre-K or kinder. It cannot be fifth grade. It cannot be second grade. It's either pre-K or kinder. You're planning an event to bring in your families into your classroom, because we know that the best way to build that relationship with that student is to make an opportunity to know that child's family. And families are very important to your success as a teacher, and you need them on your side. And so if perhaps holding or having some type of meeting like this that involves the family, that brings the family to your classroom, I'm not saying that the event has to be in your classroom, but I'm just saying that's who you're inviting. That's your target audience, is your families that you teach. And so it can be anywhere on the school campus. I don't care about that, but I just want it to be for your class and your class only. You're planning it, and the event should offer diversity to your families. In other words, celebrate diversity. What can you do to offer something that would include all your families? So this is the instructions are on a page in week 5. You will see it move down to week 6. It is not a paper, it's just a PowerPoint. And you do need to make sure that you do a walkthrough, in other words, with video and audio. As you put it together, make sure that you are walking it through us by talking us through what your plans are. So you should have that presentation uploaded into week 6. I believe it's due on the 16th. and it is just a PowerPoint, and you just drop it in the Dropbox, and it's going to be on a discussion page. It will be on week 6. So that's really where we are as a class right now, and then the class will come back together. We're out of here by 2:15, so probably around 1:30ish, I will call them back, and we'll begin to kind of have some presentations from room 1 and room 2. Okay, so I did this because I forgot to hit record when we first started. So I've got to do better at recording this meeting because some people are absent, and we certainly don't want anyone to miss. That would mean it would be class number 12, that's right, video, okay. Oh, okay, there it is. All right. Okay, that's all I needed to know. Okay. Okay. Okay.
sent out a massive text to all the golfers last night that said the cancer is in other places. It is inoperable. They sent him on, because I'm feeding too, they sent him on to chemo at home.
Were y'all done? I felt like y'all were. Somebody's shaking their head. They weren't done.
Getting there.
Getting there.
I would say like 89% done.
Okay. Well, that'll work. You can present out a little bit. Yeah.
Like trying to
We'll
be
just
detailed.
present out what you have, and then you can add to it if you need to. I'm sure, but I didn't want us to go over time, so I wanted us to have a chance to come back and share before we headed out. Okay. So, group one, could you share out some things that you found for pre-K? I think it was pre-K, wasn't it? Let me see what paper it is. Yeah. Does somebody have their thing on?
Oh, I do. Sorry.
It's okay.
Did you want us to read the activities to you now or when we get back to class?
Yeah, you can do it. You can share out some things that you y'all came up with.
In class or right now?
Yeah, right now. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I guess whoever started with like the charade games, if you can explain that, and then the next activity, I'll do activity 3 about the fill the cup. I don't know, whoever.
Do you remember who was activity 1?
First,
Yeah, who was activity 1?
we have like Inside Out Charades game and the standard.
Okay.
We have a couple standards that goes with this game. And the first one is express feelings through appropriate gestures, actions, and language, which is SE3E. Then we have another one, SED2. The child will engage in self-expression with adult guidance. Use verbal and nonverbal expressions to describe and explain a full range of emotions. And then the final standard, we have SED2.46. Use pretend play to present emotions or self and others. So this game it introduces emotions using picture cards and model facial expressions. Each child will take turns picking emotion card at the end and out without speaking, while the class guesses the feeling. After guessing, we will discuss when they felt that way. This game will also help students recognize feelings of others and how to express emotions.
Good one.
Okay. And then activity 2 is called the feelings cup. And so what you do with that is the standard is SE3E, express feelings through appropriate gestures, actions, and languages. And so using a colored cup, let me cut my Zoom back on. Using like a cup each day, the students kind of like a self-check-in, they'll come in, they have their own individual cup. There will be it's a movie that the kids are familiar with, like Inside Out. And so they're going to have a little pom-pom. And what's going to happen is that each day there's going to be like a little area. Let me go back to it. The emotions that will be presented to the students are happy, which is going to be a yellow pom-pom, sad, blue, angry, red, worried, orange, confused, green, and tired, gray. So that way we can kind of channel their emotions. And when they come in, that's something they drop in, kind of do like a little self-check-in with the students. And it could be used throughout like the day, depending on like if a teacher presents something and then want to know how they feel about it, then they can do it. So it's initially used in the morning, but as the day progresses, we can say, hey, how are you feeling? And then they go to that designated area and put that color pom-pom in there.
That is wonderful. And I want to say this because I wish that particular day that I had a recording of this student in EDU 626, but there was a young lady in my course. It was probably a year or 2 years ago that I will never forget when we did this, and she just shared out personally how she lived in a lot of chaos and a lot of trauma, and she lived through it as a child. But she said what she came away with, which was just staggering, was that she said nobody asked me at school. It was never ever, it was just like it was never brought up. And she was just making the point again, guys. And I'm telling you, when she said that, I mean, by the time she finished, we were all wiping our faces, because the very idea of a child and no one ever asking, or no one ever trying to find out, or just playing a game with them and letting them have the opportunity to express themselves. You know, back in the day, maybe when you were in school, I know when I was in school, I don't believe that was addressed at all. So we've come a long way with that. And it is something that needs attention, because usually, as my mother in law always told me, there's a why behind every behavior. And if you don't understand that, then you need to stop and just leave and get out of education, because, folks, the ones that are the worst are carrying the biggest burdens, and a lot of that is from what they have been through, what they are going through. And you have to ask yourself, always ask yourself why. You may not know why. You may not can find out why, but you need to at least ask yourself why, so that you will be compassionate enough to deal with it. Because I can tell you from experience myself, there is nothing more draining to a teacher than a child that is out of control. When you are trying to gain control and you've lost control and that child is out of control, it's a horrible place to be in. But we have to remind ourselves why, so don't let that go away. So I love that idea that they could pick from a cup and expand on it. So good. So good. All right. That was all for group one. Is there anybody else for group one? Was that it? Yes or no? Okay.
I was number 5. I thought we were going in order, but
That's fine.
I did the sharing circle, and pretty much piggybacking off of what Ursula said is they'd have like a container, and when they're having a moment throughout the day, maybe someone didn't share a toy with them, or maybe they're just sad. They come in sad sometimes. It could be something as small as breakfast. I've seen kids have a whole meltdown because they did not get breakfast. And if it's a breakfast they want, but however they're feeling, they put how their popsicle sticks. So in our pre-K room at our school, every kid has a popsicle sticks container on their cubby, so that it has their name on it. Mm-hmm. So they can take their popsicle stick and put it in that container. Right now I'm feeling sad. Right now I'm feeling angry. Right now I'm feeling disappointed. Whatever they may be feeling, and then at the end of the day, we do the sharing circle where they pass the baton and take their stick out of that emotion and say, yes, today I felt sad when Robert took the toy from me while we were doing centers, or when I didn't get to finish my lunch and lunch was over. And then we express how to best deal with those emotions, and also to help them become more in sync with each other and have more empathy towards each other's emotions. Other students can say, well, next time you could try doing this, or when I feel that way, I do. So now they're learning empathy at the same time. So
powerful. Good stuff. Anybody else from that group? I don't want to take away from your time. Was that it for that group one? Those were great ideas for pre-K. And pre-K is a battleground. I mean, you have all ranges of emotions there. And mostly, a lot in the beginning is just separation anxiety. You have to deal with that. I will never forget the year that I taught kindergarten, and we had just had our first pre-K class come in, and they all came in and sat down, and I couldn't believe it, because I had experienced children screaming and hollering and carrying on because they had never been in school before, but they had already had a year pre-K, and it just takes all that away. And so I have always paid great respect to our pre-K teachers. Raise your hand if you teach pre-K every day. Oh, look at these people. Look at these people, folks. I mean, you need to go over and hug them, love on them, because they do the impossible. And folks, that education starts the day that pre-Ker walks in that building until they leave 12th grade. Every grade is important. You know that. Each grade falls, it just levels up. So we've got to have those pre-K people strong. Okay, go ahead. Whoever I interrupted, I apologize.
We have two more, so I didn't know the person that came with 3 and 4 if you wanted to speak, or did you want one of us to read it?
Go ahead.
We have all 5 activities. So.
Okay, good.
I did. Okay,
You can go first.
No, you go ahead.
I wrote down the kindness role play, which covers standard SE4, I believe, where it was showing empathy and kindness to others. So for that particular activity, the kids would be shown like an image, say, of a particular scenario of maybe like a child falling and they're crying, or like they lose their toy and they're upset, and then the teacher would put them like in a circle and they would just go around and share like how they would be kind to that person, to that child in that particular situation.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Anybody else from
Okay,
that?
I did the number 4 or 4 activity, and it was the monster color book, like story. It's a story about a monster, and he uses colors to help associate with emotions. It's a really cute book. I own it. It goes with the SED 1.4B is what I had it listed as my lesson plan, but identifies personal characteristics and thoughts and feelings. And basically what I do is I read the story, or I do a picture walk through the book first to kind of give them an idea of the emotions and the colors together. Then you read the book, and then we have them talk about why the colors would associate with the feelings. But that's pretty much my activity.
I love that. That's wonderful. Great. All right. Now, group 2 dealt with kindergarten. Now, what were your ideas for social development in kindergarten? They are very social people in kindergarten, some of them. Speaker for group 2, anybody?
Hi. Oh, can you hear me? Yes.
Uh-huh.
So we created like a slide because we weren't sure how to present it.
Oh, that's fine.
Let me just share with you. So
Sure.
the majority of us are currently working using social character strong
Uh-huh.
for our schools, which it goes across all grade levels, which is a plus.
Oh,
Can you
well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So okay, here we go. So basically, this is what character strongs are, and these are the different topics that it covers: respect, responsibility, gratitude, empathy, perseverance, honesty, cooperation, courage, and creativity. Embedded in those lessons, the purpose is basically for students to better understand their thoughts and emotions, to become more self-aware and develop empathy for others. What happens is there are interactive videos where they'll have like a lot of singing. So this will happen like during circle time in the morning when they first come in, because we feel like it's important for kids to, as they move into the school.
Neat. I'm sorry, Neat. Click your slot because we're still on the first one.
Oh, is it on the second one yet? Third one?
No, we must be on a different screen that you're sharing.
Okay. Hold on.
You was rolling, girl. I was just like they were missing it because you was good though. You was there though. You was there. I was like, we ain't seeing it. Change though.
Okay. Can you see that?
We can see it.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it this size because I think when I show you weren't able to
There
see.
you go. There you go. You got it.
All right. So this is what the first topic of the month would be, like kindness, the different aspects of kindness that we'll be going through. Again, it's for kindergarten, but it's a plus because the whole school could also be involved, which will allow kindergarten likes when the bigger kids speak to them about something that they're all learning at the same time. So it's a lot of inclusion. Within when this will happen is like in the morning at their arrival, because it's important for kids as they move into school mode. Morning meetings help kids transition from home to school. So a lot of times, as we know, that's those in the classroom, your kids will come in and you know something's up. So this is our way of like talking them either down or talking them up into the mode of getting into school, but also checking in emotionally. Embedded in these, just going back inside of these lessons, there are different videos where they may be actually doing yoga some days, or they're actually doing a sing-along. And also, like, for example, what it will look like. These are the questions and the prompts during the circle time when you're talking to them. So here's examples. What does honesty mean to you in your own words? What does honesty look like or sound like? Why is it important to practice honesty? So these are just a couple examples of the questions to make it interactive. So it's just like also giving them voice equity, um, which will encourage them to actually speak out. And for kindergarten, it's very important for them to practice verbal language. So this would allow them to, try to formulate the sentences that they're learning to do. And then, Sean, do you want to go over the last slide?
Yeah, I can. And so I just we finished up with just the idea of the pro-social behaviors. So we focus on the helping the students on interacting with each other, the sharing. So that's a big thing, especially in kindergarten, that we're introducing the fact that especially if they come from only child or the oldest or whatever the youngest, that they're practicing the concept of sharing, donating, cooperating. So intangible, we talked about making them little small groups and making those play areas, as we learned earlier, so that you have that type of interaction, comforting. Again, like they said, I like the idea that you said that the principal took the the teachers around to see where they come from, and I knew my previous AP, which was my mentor, he enforced that about the idea that when you see students, and we've been going through that even as teachers, like don't assume that they know. We say a lot of times that, oh, you should know better to, you know, have your fork out. You should know better to do that. And a lot of times, some of the time, more or less nowadays, these kids aren't being taught these basic things that we were taught earlier at home. So that whole concept of comforting, especially also the concept of loss. I know one of our students, they lost, one of my other teachers, they lost a relative. So them coming back after that, and I know parents share that a lot. Mentoring, I know the schools are set up to do that. But sometimes just the idea that, I know we hold all these hats, so mentoring, just that being a thing. And I know our counselors are doing a separate mentor than our regular district is. Just kind of getting some students, maybe alley a grade under your wing or mentoring them or coming up with a mentor group. Protecting, of course, just the idea about, you know, things within the circle or things that are shared that they might have a little circle time with, that, this is a safe space. Showing kindness. I know through the reading there was an idea about enforcing the act of kindness, and this was something I was considering on adding, especially since mine have revved up to really kind of be rude to each other. And then lastly, the caring for others, just whether that be a simple gesture or just the idea about them caring for friends.
That is awesome. Now, did y'all have any more from your group, or was that it? It's okay if you didn't. I'm just asking.
No, but
Mhm.
Kim brought a different aspect because she has different children that she brings across, she deals with. Sorry, Kim.
Yes. So yes, like I told them, like I said, I deal with all grade levels, but the grade level that I'm meeting the most with is kindergarten. So when I do so for me with kindergarten, I would have them come in, like everyone shared, and I have to actually sit down and go over. Like I would have like let's say for example, it depends on what they do in the reflection in my den form, and I'll go over songs with them. Like for example, green choices, red choices. Show them
Yes.
pictures, and they'll tell me this is a good choice, and then I'll ask them, well, how would you have in the classroom? Like, are you being kind to your friend? Or I'll just ask them questions, redirect, and then they'll come back to me like, Miss Lita, I was wrong. And then they'll write an apology letter or something to friends or to the teacher, and then I'll send them back and I'll give my report, and then during the day I'll just check in on them to make sure they're doing good the next day. So basically, like I say, it depends on the situation. So like I say, in my school they send them to me.
Yeah, that's so good though that they have somewhere to go, because they need that. All right. Okay, very good. Okay, well, guys, you've made it through another session today in online learning. I hope you gained something from it. You will just drop that in the Dropbox for your points for being here today. You will all turn in the same from the group. So whatever you decide as a group to turn in, make sure everyone has the same thing. Are there any questions before I let you go? Any questions, concerns, worries, frustrations? Let it go.
I know just hearing how great the first group did. I know they put the standards. I know we hadn't added that part. We need to add that part before we send it.
Yeah, I would add the standards in on it. Whatever it had on there to put on there, I would definitely do that. Yes. Anything else? Everybody looks good. Everybody seems well. Okay. All right. I will not keep you any longer today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. And I will see you again in a week or so. At that time, we're going to be moving into project-based learning. And we're going to be working on, or you will be working on individually, a lesson plan for that.
I have a
Yes, go ahead.
question. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Quick question. So where do I drop it? Under which assignment? Which assignment do I drop it into?
It should fall under
for today's lesson.
Let me see. Hold on,
Because
let me share my screen. Let's see. I don't know if this is it, but we will see. Okay. Where is it? Yes, it should be group project improving social emotional development through games. It is in week 5.
I see it. I'm sorry. It's on the bottom. That's why. Okay, it's there.
You see it? Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, great. All right. So any other questions? I don't want to cut someone off. All right. You all seem well. I'm not going to hold on. Yes?
We don't got to do a timesheet for observation, do we?
The only timesheet for the observations is included in anthology. You will have to go in to your anthology and create a journal. Okay. That journal, you will click in there and you will put on-site observation and you'll put the hour and the date. You do not have to write it up. You remember you did that for week 4 on the discussion board, but you do not have to write up anything in anthology. It's just more or less like a timesheet. You will have to have those 4 on-site observations logged in anthology. Then once we move over to the video observations where you watch them, you will log those in as well. But right now we're just worried about getting in those 4. I know someone in here told me they created their journal to log in their hours, and they were asking me, could I see it? I cannot see your anthology, so I can't help you. But if you've put it in there, it's there.
Yeah, it's in there. You just have to make sure when you're putting in the hour, you're just putting the number one and not anything else into it. And there's a box where you can select the time.
Okay.
And then it's there.
Good. Thank you for that. All right, Kim, you have a question. I thought she had a question.
Yeah, it was just yes, I do. To log into Anthology, right? Do you I got in before, but now I'm lost again. How do you access it via or
what
Canvas?
I would do? What I would do if you want to log into Anthology, you need to go into the course and go into where we had to do that, or you had to do that placement form.
And then click from there.
And you click from there, and it'll log you into your desktop. Always remember that.
That's
When you're doing work for
that
me,
way.
you're
Yeah.
going to go through there. When you're doing
Mhm.
work for Dr. Wood in anthology, you'll go through her
Okay.
place. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So each professor have their own link to
Yeah.
get in because
Yes.
like I
Yes.
noticed my other class is different than yours. Okay, you good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's right. You're exactly right, Kim. Thank you for that. Good things. Anything else? I'm not trying to be hasty here. I just want to, if you do have a question or concern, something worrying you, let me know.
I'm sorry, we just have one to enter, right?
Well, you will enter each week that you observe. So,
Yes, ma'am. But as of right now, we only have one.
yeah,
I'm just
that's
trying
all
to make
right.
sure
You
I'm
just
clear.
finished week, well, now we're
Okay.
into week 5, I guess. Technically, it would be 2. But now, if you're not on schedule, you can go and do it. You know what I mean? You have technically for the first 8 weeks all this time here that you can add them in. You know, you
Okay.
can add
Okay.
those in. If you missed one last week, you can make it up. It's not a big deal. You know, you can do that yourself. But in the end, you want 4 hours. 4 hours for your own site. That means you went in a classroom and you observed. You want 4 hours there. I know. That's what you have to have. So if you missed a week, you can go back and catch it up this week. No biggie. You're not writing anything this week for me on the discussion board. You did it in week 4. And they were absolutely fabulous. Let me tell you, y'all just really, wow, fabulous observations. And then you'll do it again in week 8. Okay. That's when you go back and kind of look over the 4, 5, 6, and 8, or whatever it was, the 4 observations, and talk about it overall. That's all you have to do with that. But you want to put it in anthology each time you observe, face to face.
Okay, that's
Are
what
we
I'll do.
all on board on the same ship? We're all going the same way, right? Okay. Because I'm telling you, I have had some students that got really messed up with these observations, and finally the girl said to me, she said, "Well, I'm going to have to get permission to get a video of those children." And I said, "What are you videoing?" She thought I meant you had to go in there and video the children when I said video observation. So I'm trying very hard to be very specific as to what this means. On site is you walk in the room and observe, and then you just write it up. You only have to write it up one time. That's on week 4, and then you do it in week 8. And I know it is a lot. I know it's confusing. But if you'll ask the questions, I'll try to keep you straight. Anything else? Okay, y'all are absolutely a delight. I tell you, you guys have got personality. My other class is very, very quiet. It's very nerve-wracking. You guys make me feel very comfortable. You are willing to talk to me, and I like that. So I wish you well. I hope you have a great day ahead. And if you do have a problem throughout the week, you just don't hesitate. Email me, and I'll try to get back with you as quick as I can, okay?
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Have a great Saturday. Get out and do something.